TGZ TV. You are watching TGZ TV.
The Global Zambian, the only magazine that celebrates quality, cross-culture lifestyle and entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to another live edition of the Real Housewives of Lagos. I'm excited. It's Friday once again, and we're back. I'm exhausted. It's been an extremely long week, and we have, let me just show you the ladies, just to give you guys a little bit of a reminder. We have quite a lot to cover. Well, I mean, how would you call it, really? Quite a lot to cover, or I think it was one of those episodes where they didn't give us too much, but gave us a lot to digest. I think that's pretty much how I can best describe it. You know what I mean? They give us a lot, you know. So I think we might be on the halfway mark of the entire season. And so for those who are joining us for the very first time right now, you know, as you can see right now, what's showing on my screen is all the ladies, you know. If you're not familiar with them, we've got Caroline, we've got Iyabo, we've got Chioma, we've got Toyin, and we've got Laura, and then obviously we've got Mariam. And it's quite fitting, actually. You know, I'm just realizing right now that Mariam has actually been placed at the very top end of the graph, you know, of the image on the cast picture, which is interesting considering she was one of the actual last people to join the cast, because everyone kind of joined at the same time, but Mariam actually joined the rest of the cast members afterwards, you know. So I do find it quite fitting that she would be one of the people who is at the very, very end. But I'm just getting everyone kind of like a little bit more familiar with the ladies, because we are going to be darting back and forth into how the conversations transpired in this particular, what I would call, it's nothing less than an extremely heated episode. You know, it was an extremely heated episode, and it did give us a lot to kind of like talk about. It did give us a lot to kind of like think about as well. You know, it did raise a number of questions as well, in my opinion, you know, about some of the cast members. And also it seems the start of this particular episode birthed the beginning of what the internet seems to be circulating. Unless you've been living under a rock, you can't have possibly missed this tea. The fact that Caroline might have because it came out of her own mouth. You know, she outright said that she actually unfollowed Chioma, but not only did she unfollow Chioma, she actually blocked her. And that's quite extreme, because I'm thinking, well, dang, blocking, it's one thing to decide to unfollow somebody because, you know, you're not getting along for whatever reason and stuff like that. But like, to go ahead and block her, is there a reason? Like, you don't want to see your feed, or you don't want to see her feed and stuff like that? I'm really curious about that, to be honest. You know, I'm really, really super curious about that. And, you know, the actual, is it more than what exactly transpired? You know what I mean? I'm honestly super duper curious as to what happened with them for it to come as far as, you know, her deciding to block her show bestie. Because that was, in my opinion, it seems like it's a bit of an escalation. You know what I mean? It's gone from 0 to 100 super duper quickly, and the blogs have been all over it, or should I say more or less the internet, the YouTube blogs have kind of like been all over that news in particular, and it's quite surprising, to be honest. It's really, really surprising. It obviously was very unexpected, but before we dive into all the nitty-gritty and the drama, I'm going to quickly say hello to the people who come in. Hello, Avis. Avis is one of the first people to come in. Hey, Stephanie. Life with Anne is saying, please, where can I watch the full episodes? Life with Anne, you can find the full episodes on Showmax. That's the it's owned by DSTV, if I'm not mistaken, and that's where you can catch all the full episodes on there. I know if you're based in the United States, it's not available there, but you can go and actually watch it on Showmax. I think you can download the app, or you can watch it through the browser. That's where you can find those episodes. Maki is sending good vibes. Obviously, some of the emojis actually don't show up on StreamYard that are actually on YouTube. But hey, Maki, how are you doing all the way from SA? You know, Avis, you're excited about this, aren't you? It was an exciting episode. You know, it gave us a lot to talk about. You know, it did give us a lot to talk about, because there was just so much drama, so much drama. And so, and as usual, obviously, I'm going to do my usual housekeeping. For those people who are watching right now on YouTube, please do not forget to click on that like button if you're watching on YouTube right this second. And of course, do not forget to click the bell button if you are a subscriber already. And if you're not, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can receive notifications every time we go live, as I am right now. Of course, every time we upload new content on our channel. And of course, the people who are watching us over on Facebook, we do not forget about you. Please make sure that you click like on the video that you're watching right this moment. And of course, do not forget to follow the page that you are watching from right now. And of course, tweak the notifications so that you can receive alerts every time we go live, as we are right this moment, and as well as when we post new content from our website, tgzmag.com. So let's get right into this very, very interesting episode. Actually, no, let me pause. Let me not get too ahead of myself. So as usual, there's been new looks, you know, with every episode. Like I said, with the Houses of Lagos, every single episode has got them wearing or donning some sort of brand new look, and I am here for it. Some of them are hits, some of them are complete and utter misses. And so let's take a look at some of the new looks that the ladies are donning this particular episode. So we've got Caroline first in line. Caroline, this is Caroline's new look, and it's very prim and proper. It gives kind of like, you know, conservative vibes, in my opinion. It gives conservative vibes, you know, very queenie with the pearls and everything. I like it. It suits her, you know, it suits the persona she tries to maintain, I suppose, you know. So that's, to me, is very Caroline, you know. And then obviously we've got Chioma. Chioma has done her usual, you know, a little bit over the top, you know, gowny type look. She likes her sequins, she likes her fluffs, you know, she likes her zhuzhing up of, you know, items. Actually, this look works, you know. I love the earrings, I love the dress and the hairstyle. This time she hasn't mixed her hair being, you know, big and then the outfit being big, because that's not a good contrast. But this one actually works for Chioma, and I'm loving it. And then we've got Iyabo. Iyabo has actually got a new look as well, and it's interesting how Iyabo's look, in terms of hairstyle, is very similar to Mariam's new look. But again, with this one, it's giving me what the issue that I had with Chioma's previous look, where she had too much going on in the hair and too much going on with the outfit. And I think that's the situation here. I don't understand why she felt the need to have a hairstyle that's literally about 3 different hairstyles, and then have a dress that's got a lot going on, because the dress looks beautiful, the hair is cute on its own, but together it doesn't work for me. You guys, you let me know in the comments which one you think is your favorite new confessional look. And so I'm going to go straight to Mariam so you can just see a direct comparison. And then we've got Mariam. As you can see, Mariam has actually got a very similar situation going on with the hair and the outfit. Mariam is a very tiny person, so she has to be very careful how she styles her hair, because if she even gets it slightly wrong, it overshadows her, you know, it overshadows her face and her body and everything, even the dress that she's wearing. Unfortunately, this is the screen grab that I've got, but at one point she does straighten up a bit, and you see that it's actually a very cute dress. But again, because she's tiny and then she's got all the hair going on, you can't really make out the dress, you know. And I think, again, similar to Iyabo, she didn't need to have that hairstyle for that dress. She needed a more simple, sleek hairdo to go with the dress. The earrings, I think, are perfect. The makeup is fine. The hair is cute, but it just doesn't go with this particular outfit, in my opinion. You know, it just doesn't go. And then we've got Laura, who came not with 1 but 2 looks, which I liked both of, actually. And she seems to be improving. And I think she's been watching herself back and going, ooh, that was a miss, that was a miss. And so this is, for me, she's now had 3 good looks since they started. The rest of the looks before that, they were terrible. And this one I like. The only thing I don't like about this is the cat ears. I don't understand the purpose of them, you know, because this is not a costume. So I didn't understand why she felt the need to make herself look like she's wearing a costume. You know, someone help me understand the reasoning behind that, because I don't, you know. And then we've got her second look. This actually is probably, especially, not necessarily the outfit, I'm not sure. I think maybe the blazer part of the outfit she should have done away with, maybe, you know. But it looks like it could have been it's a really nice strapless dress from the design look of it, you know, or strapless top, whatever. And I think it would have been great just on its own and not with the blazer on it, because the hairstyle is dope. The hair, honestly, she got it perfectly right. You know, it suits her face frame. You know, the edges were laid perfectly, and she looked good. She actually looked really good, you know. And so bravo to Laura for the hairstyle and the makeup for this particular one, because she, you know, she got this right, you know. She got this one. She definitely, without a shred of a doubt, got right in terms of hair, you know, and makeup. And I hope she kind of carries on in this streak, you know, because I think this is literally what works for her. You know, it's literally what actually works for her. And then last but not least, all right, guys, I had to leave this one last, you know, for everyone, because I'm still in a bit of disbelief, because I'm just like, girl, like, what is happening here? You know, someone needs to help me understand what the big idea with this particular outfit is, with what's her name? With Toyin, I get it. You're a designer. I get it. Honestly, I get it. You are a designer and you're flamboyant and everything. But I need someone to help me understand the reasoning behind this Shakespearean look, because it literally looks like William Shakespeare. Okay. And when I say it literally looks like William Shakespeare, let me just give you an idea. Okay. Look at this. You see that? Look at Toyin. Let's look back at William Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Toyin. Shakespeare. Toyin. So I am just like, I am so confusion right now. I am confusion. So Toyin is wearing a costume, some kind of palace clown. Honestly, it's a palace clown look. She's like a court jester. You're right. She is like a court jester. And I'm not understanding why, you know. I'm not understanding why. I'll definitely go to her for fancy dress. I think so. If you're going for a costume party, I feel like Toyin would literally be in the perfect position to make you the perfect gown, to make you the perfect outfit, because she seems to be good at making what, in my opinion, appears to be, really, really good, really good, outfits for parties. Bear in mind, the reason I'm basing my opinion on this is, remember, if you remember last time, she had Yabo's daughter. Okay, Yabo's daughter was wearing some kind of outfit for her 16th, is it 21st birthday. She was having a photo shoot and she was being styled by Toyin. And Toyin basically dressed her in what I can only describe to be a Halloween costume. So that's why it seems like she would be the perfect person to offer Halloween style costumes, for you if you need any. The witch outfit, literally, it looked like, a little witch's hat, and it looked beautiful, but it just seemed like a Halloween costume to me. And this is no shade to Yabo's daughter, because she's actually a gorgeous girl and she seems like a really nice, young, polite, and well-mannered young lady. But the costume was just not it, because it was confusing for me. But anyways, so getting into one of the first scenes, it kind of carries on where they give us a flashback of what happened last week, when in the car with the horrible text messages that were back and forth between Laura and Caroline. Obviously, Caroline gave more than what Laura gave back to her. And so it's one of those situations where when you start something with somebody, you honestly cannot dictate how angry someone is going to get. I find it very ridiculous that people think they can control how people react to what they say to them. That's why sometimes it's better just to keep your mouth shut and not start something. Because if you start something, there won't be anything. Whereas if you start something, don't be surprised on what comes your way, because you don't know what ammo the other person's going to have. And that's what happened in this situation, where Laura started something, poke the bear, and the bear being Caroline, because Chioma decided not to engage. And she got a lot worse than she gave, and she said some really horrible things. But at the same time, I'm not backing up Caroline, but at the same time, I'm like, girl, in the end, the way I see it, they were just both a mess. So we arrive at the place that Chioma was going to with Caroline and her friend, which is to do with the Good Way Foundation that she has, where she is supporting, obviously, the young women. It's basically to support the girl child, support people who are in underprivileged, communities, in basically just trying to help them have a better life. And she's giving, if I remember very well, she mentioned 6 different individuals. She was giving them funding for their business startups, which I think was amazing. And I find that very interesting. This is the second time we're actually seeing a bit more of what the ladies are doing. And in Chioma's part, this is the second time we're seeing her actually the third time. Is it the third time? No, it is the second time, actually. We're seeing her do something that's philanthropic, So my thinking is, why are we not following the other ladies as they're doing, other bits and pieces with their businesses, etc., that sort of thing? And so I just want to touch on a really touching moment that she actually had with one of the women. And so this is a woman who knows her, and I think she promised her to help her out with something, but I don't know if she took long or stuff got in the way or she forgot. I really don't know. I can't really speak on that, if truth be told. But when she went to check up on her to kind of like have an update, she found out that her son, the woman's son, actually got ill, and the son actually passed away because of lack of medical care. And this is due to, apparently, and I don't know how true this is, my Nigerian sisters, you can tell me in the chat, it made me really sad. It was really, really sad. Chioma basically said that in Nigeria, or at least maybe parts of Nigeria, if you do not have money to pay up front to the hospital, the doctors, or whatever, you will not get the care that you need. So if it's something that's an emergency, life or death situation, you might as well just prepare for your funeral. That's how it is. And that really broke my heart. That really, really broke my heart. And, Chioma basically was stating that is literally one of the reasons why she is, running the charity in the first place, because of situations such as this, to avoid situations like this happening over and over and over again. Because honestly speaking, it was very heartbreaking. It was a really, really, really heartbreaking scene to watch, to watch the mom, really cry, because I can only imagine being a mom myself, the idea of losing your child, like your children should never have to go before you, and that's pretty much what happened in this particular situation. And I think it was good addition to the episode considering what ended up happening afterwards. And so after this particular scene, basically it goes over to Laura, as we follow her at her home, and she's preparing to, apparently she's going to go meet a client. And as she's preparing to go meet a client, she decides to have a little bit of a sit down with her husband. And as she goes and has a sit down with her husband, she goes on to basically try to explain to her husband what is actually going on with the situation or the ladies. She starts to talk about obviously the argument that happened within the text messages. And so as she's having the discussion with her husband, she tells him to say, you remember when I heard the book, I wanted to find out about, they blipped the person's name. I don't know who the name, I think it's a governor or president. I really don't know. But they said, she said she wanted to meet him so that he can buy her book. I mean, I do have a bit of a question mark with this, because she's like, okay, she wanted the governor to buy her book. Your book is how to be popular on Instagram. So your book is basically aimed at Instagram influencers or people who are trying to have a social media career, because now you can have a, social media career. And so my thinking is, what is the reason for a governor? What would he, you know what I mean? What need would he have for this book if he is a member of the state? He is a member of parliament and stuff. I'm very confused. Was he going to buy for his daughter? Because I know that he's not going to try to be an influencer. So that, I feel, is a bit of a hole in her story. But nevertheless, she explains to her husband and basically tells him to say, yeah, and now Caroline is saying that, I went there to be pimped and that sort of thing. And the husband went to say, but wasn't she there as well? So I could equally ask, what was she doing there? And it's interesting he said that, because just last week I said the same thing when I was reading the text message. I said, hang on a minute, Caroline, if you say you were there and they brought her in and they brought her in to be pimped, what were you doing there? Because obviously Laura has somewhat given a bit of a reason as to why she was there in the first place. And she said her husband is the one who dropped her off, But what was your reason, Caroline, for being there? Because you can spit all of this, but why were you there? I would like to know the reason as to why Caroline was there. What business did she have there? Because I know Laura said that she was the president or whatever was there, the governor or whatever was there doing something with some entertainers. So I don't know if he was greeting them or they were entertaining him. They just say something with the entertainer. So the whole thing, it's quite vague, if truth be told. The whole meetup seems a bit vague. It seems a bit wishy-washy. So, it does put a lot of questions up in the air. And so they have that discussion, and then we fast forward over to, I'm assuming it's probably the next day or a couple of days later or something like that, because you can see in this particular scene with her husband, Laura is wearing a white shirt and black pants. And then in the next scene, here, this is where all the ladies are meeting up, and she's wearing a dress. She's wearing, brown outfit. Her hair is completely different and everything as well. So, it's quite interesting. Her husband, what? Stephanie. Do you think her husband was her pimp? Oh my days, I'm dead. So basically, they gather together because Iyabo is actually the one that caused this meeting for the ladies, to kind of like talk. And as you can see, she's like, there's been a lot of bad blood flowing amongst the ladies. And it doesn't take long for her to say, the ringleader of a lot of the finger pointing and the, the stuff that's been going on, unfortunately, has been none other than Laura. And obviously, Chioma goes in a confession and says, you see, Laura did not expect that it was going to be aimed at her. She did not expect that it's going to be aimed at her. And unfortunately, as much as we don't want to make Laura the common denominator in a lot of the tension, she is the one that caused a lot of tension amongst the ladies because she just doesn't know how to act right, And so they sat there, they bring up, the whole people coming in late, and obviously that's fine. But they start to talk about how she was moody even prior to the ladies coming in late. Fine, they came in late, but they decided to just go ahead and eat without them and start without them. But even then, even after the ladies arrived, she was being moody for the most part, you know. Oh, wow. Let's see. What's this? Why did Laura wear earrings if she was going to take them off before she even got started? She could have saved the time. The earrings was not cute anyway, just seeking attention. Oh, my God. Stephanie's not a very big fan of, I think, or Laura. I don't think so. And so basically, as they are sat down, obviously they're having this discussion. They are exchanging information, they're talking, and at some point, Toyin decides to confront Laura to say, look, you know, I don't support nonsense because you have been acting up, you know, you are in the wrong. And Laura was not happy about it. She's like, you're my friend, you're supposed to support me. And yeah, Toyin is like, no, at the end of the day, if you're my friend, I'm not gonna be one of those friends that doesn't tell you off when you are wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong, and I should be here to tell you, you know. And so it's a situation where Toyin is very irritated in most about the fact that she felt Laura was being a bit fake. Because of the fact that she embarrassed her last week by saying to her, you know, you're doing too much and stuff like that. And obviously Toyin didn't like that, because all Toyin was trying to do was cheer her up. But obviously Laura didn't like that. She saw it as Toyin doing too much, you know. And for me, I didn't understand that this is your friend trying to comfort you, it's your friend trying to cheer you up, because you are being a moody person. Like, what are you doing? You know. And so Toyin doesn't like that. She confronts her, but Laura is still not receiving the fact that she didn't appreciate being embarrassed like that, but she chose to try and apologize in private. And so Toyin was like, no, you publicly humiliated me, so you're supposed to make a public apology. And you know what, this goes out all across the board in life. Honestly, if you're going to choose to embarrass me and be nasty and say things to me or do certain things to me in public, I deserve a public apology. Why should you disrespect me publicly and then think you're going to give me a private apology? No. A public disrespect deserves a public apology, and vice versa. Like, don't expect to, so that people can think that I can easily just walk all over you. It doesn't work that way. If we're going to be friends, let's keep it 100, you know. And I feel like that's what Toyin is literally just trying to say to Laura. And quite frankly, I 100% agree with her. And so their discussions carry on, and they are touching on Mariam is basically saying, obviously, this whole situation started with at my dinner, and I am, you know, I am not impressed. You know, she actually told Laura that she's actually disappointed in her behavior. You know, she was disappointed in her behavior because, you know, she even prior to the ladies, like pretty much what I explained, you know, she was being moody. And even when the ladies came, even when Toyin was trying to cheer her up, she was not having it until a bit later on. But otherwise, for the most part, she made the whole situation, you know, miserable, and was quite frankly disrespectful. You know, she was criticizing the food, she was calling the dinner boring. And Laura, being crazy Laura that she is, goes into her confessional. She's like, your dinner was boring. Your dinner was boring. And I'm thinking, there she goes again with the thug life in her confessionals. Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? I don't know why Laura does this. She does this to herself. You know, at one point during her fashion show, the week of a fashion show, I really felt that she had actually redeemed herself. But my gosh, she basically took one step forward to only take 10 steps back. That's how it's seeming, because I'm still not understanding what her real problem is. It's one thing, you signed up to be on this show. You know, if you have ever done your research in the history of reality shows, not everybody always knows each other like that. You know, you just have to be civil and learn. And if you're going to bring drama, at least let it be not the toxic. And I feel like at the rate that Laura is going, she's taking it towards a toxic direction, you know. And I'm not liking that, because I'm all for drama and stuff like that. But the reason why I got put off a lot of reality shows is because they just got extremely toxic. And I feel like that's kind of like the direction this is somewhat trying to go towards. And I'm not for that. I'm honestly not for that. And so obviously, you know, they're having the discussion. Mariam gives her point of view, and then Caroline, you know, is giving her point of view. Now here, Caroline is addressing the fact that Laura was complaining about how they're dressed. If you remember last week, Laura made a point of mentioning in her confession, oh, Chioma thinks she can intimidate me with what she's wearing. I'm thinking, dude, like, Do you honestly think this woman is sitting here thinking about her wardrobe, what to wear, with the hopes of trying to find a way to intimidate you? Make it make sense, because it doesn't. Okay, make it make sense, because it makes no sense whatsoever. That logic is it's not it. Okay, that is not logic. That makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know where you're headed with that kind of logic. I don't understand it. So basically she's saying, Mariam dressed up beautifully, they dressed up well. You were wearing pretty much a short outfit. She mentioned the outfit. I think she mentioned that you wear the wrapper or something like that, but someone corrected her. She apologized. She's like, everyone is kind of dressed up, as though they were dressed up really nicely. Laura's perspective is that, oh, they knew they were not going to come early because they were dressed up like for dinner. But everyone was kind of dressed up in a dinner-ish type of way to a degree. So what is your problem? So for me, I kind of feel like Laura is always trying to find something to nitpick so that she can start a fight, And Iyabo actually made a point of saying, oh, so you just like drama, you just want to drama, right? Is that the reason, And she's like, no, it's not drama. It's like, then what is your reason for you coming like this and trying to be moody and sulking and everything? It makes no sense whatsoever. We're all grown women here, and yet you want to act up at every given opportunity that you have. It doesn't add up, right? And so as they're talking, obviously Caroline is like, look, at the end of the day, I don't have to like you, but if I have to be in the same space as you, I'm going to be cordial, I'm going to be civil, but it doesn't mean that I have to like you. It doesn't mean that I have to act up, So they're kind of like going back and forth, right, with this. And so far, it's like, okay, it's getting a little bit heated, but it seemed like it was not really getting that bad. And as they're talking, the taunting begins. I think Laura says something, Caroline says something. I dare you to say this. I dare you to say. And so now it's like a ping pong match or tennis, whichever one you please, because you're doing this. If you're standing in camera, you'd be looking this. It was like that. Next thing we know, I think who did it first? I think Caroline stood up. Caroline stood up, and as Caroline stood up, Mariam got up to try and stop Laura from getting up, because Laura's trying to get up as well. And then Chioma went to kind of stop Caroline from getting up as well, And so by this time, they're just throwing insults at each other, as you can see, and your gist is everywhere. I don't know what a gist is, and then Laura says to Caroline, you will die untimely. And I'm like, bruh. If someone tell me what your gist is, I don't know what your gist means. What is your gist? Your gist is everywhere. I'm confused. I don't know what that means. And so basically, next thing we know, that escalated, literally goes from, at this point, it's like on 50, right? Then it goes literally almost to 100. For that lie, you are effing something. Caroline said, what? So they literally at this point, they're trying to fight. Water is being thrown, okay, in this moment. And I'm like, oh my freaking gosh, all hell has just broken loose. You're just is host gossip. Oh, okay. So she's basically a gossip. Got it. So I was like, okay, I was confused as to what that meant. I was confused as to what that meant. So yeah, it proper escalated, you guys. And you can see some producers that are coming in, but it's like the producers, for what they took forever. Okay. If Esnell was a person, it would be the security and producers of this show, because it's like, dudes, you can already see these women are getting up. Okay. By now, unfortunately, I didn't get a script grab of this, but it was absolutely hilarious. By then, when the bottles are flying, you see Mariam, I think at this point, she jumps over. Where is it? On this part. Yeah, it's when you can see that? She jumps over to try and stop. I don't know why she felt the need. I'm sorry, I find that so funny. I don't know why she felt the need to jump her tiny self over. She felt the hot gossip. Yeah, I pretty much got what you meant. It was a typo. She jumped. As you can see, she literally dove over. And as you can clearly see, you guys, her shirt is coming unraveled during this massacre that's going on right now. Mariam was literally the highlight. I'm like, you and your tiny self, you're just gonna fling yourself over. What are you doing? Is this WrestleMania? What is happening? So as she basically she flings herself over, it's a situation where in the end, Mariam finds herself on the floor because she can't get up anymore. She stays lying down with her back, her back down, because in this moment, her entire back, as you can see, her back was unraveling, was gone. And so she needed help to kind of help put her back together again, She thought she was a goalkeeper. Literally, that was a goalkeeper stance. That act, I'll never unsee that. That was literally a goalkeeper stance, because I was like, Mariam, babe, like, what are you doing? It was absolutely hilarious. Honestly, a lot happened in such a short period of time, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't even know where to look at one point, And so by now, obviously, the producers are in, Chioma is calming down, trying to calm down Caroline. Caroline is still screaming, how dare you, how dare you? And we've already seen from the boho party or the Togo party, whichever one you want to call it, Caroline can get crunk when she wants to. Okay, she can get crunk, and she went crunk. And so eventually they are actually put to sit down, and they try to kind of like get back into the discussions to kind of get back on track. So thank goodness the only thing as far as it had gone was actually just water being poured. And it's at this moment when they're kind of like discussing it that Chioma decides to bring up, oh, I know when I'm late, I don't need to be told twice. I'm like, girl, we literally just calm things down, So at some point now, Chioma and Iyabo get into it. Although it doesn't get badly heated, it just kind of rises a little bit. But honestly, it's a little bit heated, but it's not bad in the sense that it's negative or anything like that. It's just them. I think it's Chioma trying to get her point of view across, and Iyabo trying to make sure that Chioma actually understands what she means, by that. And they kind of like, it doesn't go anywhere, if truth be told. And I'm happy about that, because they're like, no, we're not like that, but I get it, that sort of thing. And it's clear, it seems they still get along even today, because they must have cleared everything up. And it seems even all the way to next week, from what we saw for the previews, everything seems to work out right. But afterwards, Toyin decides she wants to have a word with Laura. So she calls her aside. So as they go off, Laura literally loses it. She gets very emotional. She's like, I would never disrespect you. I would never disrespect. I'm like, girl, you kind of sort of did on multiple occasions. You actually you've been rude and disrespectful to your so-called friend. Okay. So Toyin is trying to talk to her to say, look, I'm talking to you. Listen to me. I'm talking to you. She's like, I will never disrespect you. As you can see there, she's proper, like getting full blown emotional. Stephanie is saying, Laura says she wants to be praised. If she does something right, she don't want to know only when she is wrong. Toyin never tells her if she is right. Now she don't want to be friends with Toyin anymore. And I find that very bizarre, because at the end of the day, Toyin has been very supportive of Laura. Torin, if I remember when Iyabo actually imitated, this is episode 2, when Iyabo was imitating Laura, when they went to the beach. Toyin was actually upset on behalf of Laura, although it appears that Tora went and told a bit of a fable to Laura to cause all this, because I don't know what information Toyin told Laura for Laura to get so upset with Caroline, because Caroline actually never said anything negative about Laura whilst they were at the beach. And if anything, it should have been Iyabo she would have been upset with, because Iyabo is the one who's trying to imitate her and stuff like that, as a joke and stuff. So there's a bit of a disconnect in terms of communication, but I think the person that might be the cause of that might be Toyin. As much as I like Toyin, I don't mind Toyin, I think she might have been the cause of that, to be honest. That's kind of culminated to what it is today. And so she calls her aside and they're talking, and basically Laura is over it. She's like, at the end of the day, you've not protected me, you've not been there for me, this and the other. So I don't know the full depth of their friendship and how they've really balanced things out in how they are with each other in terms of being there for one another. But I actually have seen, like, for the most part, Toyin has been there for Laura, if truth be told. She's trying to cheer up, she's trying to be there for her. And obviously she's not going to back her up when she's acting a damn fool. And that's the problem with Laura. Laura has acted like an idiot, for the lack of a better term, a lot of the time. Her behavior has been inexcusable, because it's been that of a teenager, of a child, Toyin is two-faced. I am questioning Toyin's integrity at the moment, to be honest. I am questioning her integrity to a degree. And so, I'm sure as time goes by and the rest of the episodes, because I think in what has appeared on the internet, they filmed 13 episodes. So this is episode 8, which means we've got 5 more episodes to go. And so maybe things will change where they'll get close again, because I think she did something with Laura just not so long ago. I saw, if you just go all over YouTube, you can find videos that they've done together, which kind of helps you gauge who's still friends and who's talking to each other, who's getting along and stuff, and so after that, obviously, when Laura is, I would never blah 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 blah, she's like, I'm leaving anyway. She's going to the elevator, and Toyin actually followed her and says, maybe, Toyin was like, I don't understand what she wants me to do. Does she want me to jump in and fight with her? I'm not about to do that. I'm not going to break character. I'm not going to go out of character and get into fights with people. I'm not about that life, and I'm not about to start that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like, that's Toyin's stance on that. She's not having it. She's not going to jump in the line of fire for her like that and make a fool of herself when she knows for sure that her friend is in the complete and utter wrong, and that's kind of like pretty much all of it. I think this was literally the last scene in the thing. For the most part, they gave us, as you can see, they gave us a total of 3 scenes. But if truth be told, normally I would be the first to complain about the lack of scenes, from the producers. But I appreciated the fact that we managed to actually get a lot of information out of this particular episode, because a lot was said, and I think a lot needed to be said, and a lot needed to be put on the table for the ladies to kind of discuss and kind of put to bed if need be. You know what I mean? And so that kind of brings me to the end of my commentary. And I'm now, for those who I'm going to, like I said, I normally do, guys, I'm only going to give you a short period of time to get into here and join me. So if at all you are interested in joining into this conversation and giving me your thoughts, joining on the broadcast to give your thoughts, click on the link that I have just posted right this moment. If you are on YouTube, I am pinning the link at the very top, so you should be able to have easy access to it if you're watching from YouTube. So please click on the link, come in, give me your opinions. What do you think about how this has culminated? What are your thoughts behind the whole pimping and these ambassadors, not ambassadors, members of parliament, governors or whatever, whose names are being redacted? We don't even know who they are. What do you think about Caroline saying she was there but not really explaining the reasons why she was there? And what do you think about the fact that Laura is saying that she was there to go have a governor try and purchase her book? Do you think that story is valid? What are your thoughts on Chioma deciding to chime in and insert herself into the situation? Even if she had every right to, I just didn't think the timing was that great. I think that it was just something she would have brought up at another time when things a little bit more simmer, because when it came to the lateness thing, everyone knows that's what she is like. So it would have been something that could have easily been addressed separately. This was more about making sure that everyone can kind of find a way to have to meet each other halfway and be civil and act civilized, for lack of a better term, act civilized. So join in on the chat, and as I wait for people, I'm just going to send a quick little reminder as usual. If you are watching on YouTube right now, please do not forget to click on that like button. And of course, if you are not a subscriber yet of the channel, please do not forget to click on that subscribe button. If you're not, why have you not subscribed yet? What are you waiting for? Subscribe, and of course, click on that bell button so that you can receive notifications every time we go live, as I am right now. And of course, every time we upload new content on our YouTube channel, we've got great videos coming up with interviews with some A-listers at different events. So please look out for that. We've got a new season of industry coming up very, very soon. So do not forget to miss that one. Do not forget to miss that one. No, do not miss that one. What am I saying? Do not miss that one. Make sure that you click that bell button and receive those notifications. And of course, people who are watching over from Facebook, please do not forget to like the video that you're watching from right now. And of course, do not forget to follow the page that you're watching from, as well as tweak the notifications so that you can receive updates every time we upload new content. And of course, every time we post new content from our website, which is www.tgzmag.com, where you can basically receive all the current affairs, news, stories. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take the liberty, we're at the end of the month, right? I'm going to take the liberty of actually giving you a teeny weeny preview of our website for those who've never ever visited TGZ magazine before. I will show you what the Global Zambian magazine website looks like, and here we go. Okay, sorry, I've got too many banners at the same time. Bear with me one moment. Let's do that. There you go. Okay, as you can see right now, this is tgzmag.com. So you can go ahead and visit the website. We've got several things going on. You can easily access our Instagram. You can easily access all our latest news stories. As you can see, if you go on the latest tab, you can actually see all the list of our updates, that is going on in the world of entertainment, film, television, gaming. We talk about health, we talk about books, we talk about a variety of really interesting things, and of course, we also, on the website, you can have direct access to TGZ TV, which is, as you can see right now, I have to adjust the cookies to play it. But TGZ TV is obviously our online platform where we are going to be launching sometime this year, where you're going to be watching on-demand service, TV shows that are original by us, as well as some that are curated from other people. So make sure that you do look out for that. And so that is tgzmag.com. Make sure that you visit www.tgzmag.com for everything pop culture, lifestyle, and entertainment. And so next week's episode is going to be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it because Toyin makes an announcement that the ladies are going to be going to Dubai. So I'm excited for that. But also they're wearing their geles, they're wearing their traditional outfits, which look absolutely gorgeous. But Laura better watch herself because Caroline do not play. Caroline does not play. I mean, Toyin made it very, very clear, saying, you do not want to be on Caroline because she will destroy your life. But you know what? I think she would. Now, speaking of Caroline, you guys. Speaking of Caroline, I find it very interesting that she spoke on her relationship with Chioma. Now, she basically has not given out anything that actually transpired, but her friend was very mouthy. If you go on YouTube, you can easily find it. They were on Clubhouse, and basically I think she was being interviewed and stuff, and she gave her side of the story about the lateness. And she basically mentioned that the reason why they were late, so late, is because one, her driver's dad, I think, or someone, close relative passed away. And so because her driver's close relative had passed away, and then she also had to pick up a child from school, she was extremely exhausted. So she asked production to actually pick her up. And production said, okay, fine. They sent a car for her. But when they sent the car for her, they said, okay, the car that we're sending for you, please make sure that you pick up Chioma on the way. So the car's going to pick you up. It's also going to pick up Chioma on the way. But when they get to Chioma, they find that Chioma is having a wardrobe malfunction. And so she's like, listen, rather than me waiting because it's getting late, maybe let the car just drop me off and then you can come back and pick up Chioma. And they say, no, they haven't started yet. So you're better off just waiting because by the time you go, it's going to be like a 2-hour drive. And then by the time, the driver comes back again to pick up Chioma, it's going to be late. But my thinking is, guys, is your budget that tight? Couldn't you have a different driver for Chioma and a different driver for Caroline? I don't understand, But obviously, I know what they were doing. I don't think it's got anything to do with budget. I think it's got more with them trying to instigate drama, okay? Because obviously, them being late the way they were late, it caused a lot of drama. That ended up being what we just saw in this episode, So prior to that, when Caroline was worried that she was going to be late, she apparently sent a video like message to the production team so that they can send it over to Mariam. Now, someone did ask her to say, but why did you not tell her? Why did you not tell Mariam yourself? What, do you not have her number? She's like, no, I actually don't have Mariam's number. So I sent it to production in hopes that they'll send it to her. But my thinking was, this is where I feel like it's a little bit tricky. I get it. Fine. You send it to production to let her know. But you've got Chioma's number. Who could have told them? Who's got contact with the other ladies? You've probably got Yabo's number, who you could have messaged, and she could have told the other ladies. You probably have Toyin's number, who you could have, I feel like she had contact information for some of the other ladies. She might have not she might have not had Mariam's, but I think in the least she probably had Yabo's and Toyin's, and she could have sent it to them, who would have then sent the apology to Mariam, and that would have avoided the whole situation, And so by the time they arrived, that's why it all ended up being the way it is. Because I find it odd, because Chioma actually made a video call. And when Chioma made the video call, why wasn't anything mentioned there to say, oh, guys, we're sorry, this is what actually happened? It wasn't mentioned. It just seemed like Chioma was in hair and makeup and taking her time, And I think that's kind of added to what the drama was, because 5 hours late, that's ridiculous, And you are going to someone's home, even if you're filming. I feel like sometimes, production can take liberties in order just to get drama, but don't, it's like at the expense of what? This woman not spending time with her daughter. Those women would have long gone. They would have had their fun, and the daughter should have had some time to spend time with the daughter, like Caroline pretty much said, But then she also goes on to mention that, ding, 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 she was not paid to be on the show. I said, I'm sorry, what? Apparently, they couldn't afford Caroline for the show. I said, whoa, 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 hold up. You have this woman on your show for free. You have her as an official housewife, not even friend of the show, as an official housewife, and she's been cast for free, and they said they were going to give her honorary something, whatever that is. I'm sorry, I would have turned down the opportunity, because I'm not sure what Caroline is gaining. Because if they're saying, oh, you're going to be able to promote, Caroline's not promoted any of her brands per se on the show. What has she been able to really technically promote? Because I just think it's ridiculous for a housewife franchise this massive to not be able to afford the woman. Fine, you can't afford her, then give her something. Give her what you can afford and see if she can agree to that at least. But for her to actually be there for free, and she was complaining, I spent 30,000 naira, which for those who don't know, it's about 50-something thousand pounds on designer wear, etc., that sort of thing, so that she can, be decked out in her outfits, etc. And that's fine. That is no fault of the producers. That's her own if she decided to spend that much money on outfits for the show. But the fact that she didn't get paid, for me, that's absolutely baffling, and I find that absolutely unacceptable. Not for a big franchise like this. I would have understood if it was a tiny franchise, it was something small. But this is a massive franchise that's been going on for over a decade. How can you not have the budget to afford her? If not, then find another housewife, because this is crazy. I didn't like that. And then obviously someone goes to say, oh, I noticed that you and Chioma are not following each other anymore. She's like, yeah, actually, I unfollowed her and I blocked her. And I was like, what? You unfollowed her and blocked her. And her friend goes on to say, oh, she's a betrayer. She's betrayed her big time, which now brings me to the discussion that we're having when they were talking about, stuff that Laura has said, etc., that sort of thing. Caroline goes on to mention something that Chioma mentioned to them in private, I'm assuming. And she says, oh, Chioma says that, you're trying to do this with us so that you can get more followers. And they're like, what? More followers? And obviously the producers being petty, and Laura being petty all the time anyways, says you can bring Caroline's followers, Chioma's fans' followers as well, combine them. They'll still won't match my followers. And it's true, because Laura has got 3 million followers. Remember, Instagram is her career. She is a social media influencer, so to speak, So obviously it's kind of like a given for her to have loads and loads of followers, as opposed to the other women who Instagram is not really their careers, And so I was just like, oh, this is stupid. But Chioma was like, no, that's not what I said. It was just so that she can get a rise, so that she can get more notoriety and stuff like that. But as we saw in the preview for next episode, Chioma does confront Caroline about that. Like, why did you throw me under the bus? Like, that's something that we spoke about in private. Like, you didn't need to throw me under the bus about it, So I'm just trying to. This is me maybe jumping ahead. I could be wrong. You can let me know in the chat. Do you think this is the beginning of the end of Chioma and Caroline's relationship? Because you think it started from this little throwing under the bus and then it ended up getting worse? I'm very curious, because so far they haven't showed us anything. Maybe something happens when they're Dubai. I really don't know, but we are going to find out. With that said, guys, I think I am going to bring this live to a close, because I've been talking nonstop and I'm getting super thirsty. I need me a drink and I need to relax and, just have yourself a fantastical weekend. Otherwise, guys, you have been watching the review. For those who are watching and they're like expecting a full episode, we are TGZ TV. We are not Showmax. We're not the Real Housewives of Lagos. And we are here to review the show, to talk about the show, to give thoughts about the show and what we think about how the episode went. If you are looking for somewhere to watch the episode, this is not it. Okay, you have to go over on Showmax. Sign up to Showmax, pay for the subscription, and actually watch the show from there. You're not going to watch the full episode from there. Here, you're going to get a review. You're going to get spoilers about what happened, and you're going to get, speculations and, what I think about the fashions, but you're not going to get the full episode. Sorry, but we do thank all the people who actually come on and support and appreciate us giving the review and giving our perspective of what we think about the ladies. Feel free to write in the comments after this live. If you're watching this live afterwards, feel free to write in the comments. Let us know what you think about the ladies. Who is your favorite? One of my friends, she loves to find out who her favorite is every single week. And we didn't touch base on that quite. For me, this week, my faves are definitely Iyabo and Mariam. Iyabo and Mariam are my favorites this week. The people who are at the bottom of the list for me this week, definitely Laura is definitely at the bottom without a shadow of that, and Caroline, because I feel like they could have handled that whole situation a bit more maturely. Okay. There's better ways to handle the situations. I think some of the things that you say, especially knowing that you are on television, you can hold back and not say them. But at the same time, it's one of those situations, like I said, you can't do stuff to people and think it then dictate how people are going to react. And unfortunately, the way Caroline reacted to Laura was a lot worse than what Laura anticipated, and so them two are definitely at the bottom. And then third from the bottom for me is Chioma, because I'm like, Chioma, do not insert yourself. Kind of like, it was not necessary. You looked cute in your confessional, girl, but it was not necessary for you to kind of start talking about your lateness and stuff like that, because it could have easily gone super left from there as well. And we didn't need that. It was not necessary. We didn't need that. We didn't want it, me too. Iyabo and Mariam. Yeah, Iyabo and Mariam. And then Toyin is just kind of like Toyin, and this is how it is for me this week, right? At the top, Iyabo and Mariam. In the middle, Toyin. Toyin and Chioma, because they were a bit messy, I'll say. I think they added a bit of mess in there. They instigated a few things here and there privately to each of their friends, ironically, who are fighting, who are loggerheads. And then at the very bottom, definitely Caroline and Laura. So Caroline and Chioma are your faves, Stephanie. Good to know. But otherwise, guys, that brings me officially to the end of this stream. I would like to thank you so much for coming in. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, click the bell button. Otherwise, from myself to Laura and Toyin at the bottom. Yeah, okay, interesting. Because you think Toyin is two-faced, so that makes sense. As for myself, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back again next week for another intriguing and fantastical episode of the Real Housewives of Lagos. From myself, have a fantastic weekend. Take care and goodbye.
You are watching TGZ TV.
The Global Zambian, the only magazine that celebrates quality, cross-culture lifestyle and entertainment.